Good day to you. My name's Anton Browne and I'm here at the BRIT School. I'll show you around the room in a while. I've been teaching singing here since the school opened in 1991. I'd like to make sure that students are with the right teacher. We have many teachers here. So for me, I think the best thing you could do is go to my YouTube channel, and if you look under techniques, you'll see the kind of exercises and the technical things that I cover. Various videos, you can just skip through them, look at the titles, and see whether that's the kind of thing you might like. Also, you can look at me performing to see if what I teach works or not. So you go to the playlists on the YouTube channel and I think there's a performing tab and you can look if you wish at some things there. I'm a musician and I also play piano, bass and guitar and also teach them, but more on that in a minute. And again, in the playlists, if you go to performing, you'll see me doing various things, playing piano and singing, maybe playing bass and singing, some playing guitar and singing. If you go to the covers playlist, you'll see a lot of videos of me sitting here in this room, just doing songs that I like, where I'm playing and singing, mostly piano, sometimes on guitar. And if you go to the originals tab, those are original songs, because I also teach songwriting, but singing is the main thing, always has been, but I've added these others because I realise I have something to offer certain types of instrumentalists. Now, the pianist, if you want to do grades, I'm not your man. But, is this on? Yes, it is. I can play you some chords. So mostly I would say it's piano for songwriters, to do with chords, how they work, how to play them. Not for grades and playing set pieces with the right hand, that's not for me. But if you're a songwriter and you need some help with that, I could do that. Same for the guitar, not for grades, but if you want I can show you the chords, as you'll see from, if you look at my videos, you can see the kind of stuff I do. And also bass, I enjoy bass, again, not for grades, but I might have something to offer you. Have a look, see what you think. Show you around the room. Okay, here we are. The room is compact, but there's enough room for what we need to do. Don't know why I'm showing you the coffee. Mics. I'm pleased to be an influencer for Earthworks high definition microphones in America, Earthworks. Check them out if you like. That's one of theirs, this one here. This is another, so I bring them in so the students get to use high quality kit. Got an excellent PA come monitoring system. I like to use this, which adds reverb and delay so that students can get used to that kind of thing, which you're going to be using on stages. There's a bass there for the bass players, guitar there for the guitarists, and of course the BRIT School piano, or one of them, which is very good, electric. It's a very good piano. Music therapy. First, I should make it very plain. I'm not an academically qualified music therapist, but I am a musician. And I remember in my pre-teens, leading up to teens, we had certain family issues, as many of us do. It's the way things go. And I would just take myself off and just on a rickety old acoustic piano we were lucky to have out in the back. Some of my notes didn't work, but I just found myself and learnt my chords. Didn't play like that then, but just learnt my chords, wrote some songs, started writing songs, started stringing these together, and I just found with whatever was going on that for me was my piece. So I come from that. Later on in my 20s, maybe late 20s, I remember an American guy was running a church, Christians in Action. They said, "Hey, Tom, come along, we'll play piano for us." I said, "No, I can't do it, I don't know what." He said, come on, we haven't got anybody else, come on." So I looked at these hymn things. I couldn't read the dotted music quickly enough, but they had chords over the top, so I did my best with the kind of... I did my best with that, and it was good enough. I got to play well enough for the congregation. They were all mixed, it wasn't like high church, you know, it was like a shack. On another occasion, the pastor would be praying. You'd hear some story that people were going through things, you know, sometimes health problems, all sorts of problems, or people had been mugged, or anyway, he'd be praying, and people would be with their hands, he'd say to me, play something, play something. I just feel that whatever I felt, I don't know, would offer something, would go with what people were going through. I also realised that it's not about, obviously not about me, it's about, can I do something that fits, to not get in the way, that supports whatever kind of healing was hopefully taking place. Another time, then he'd say, stop, so I'd just stop. And there'd be something else that was maybe a bit more positive, or he wanted to generate some other kind of energy. So he'd say, Anton, play something. I don't know what to play, so I do what I do. So from that I realised, you know, the power of music, not the force, but the power that it has to heal, if you like, use that term. So sometimes in here, then I might have a singer, guitarist or pianist. Mostly happens with singers, I've noticed, that will come in. Sometimes I sense they're not too keen on the technical things. I'm pushing a little bit, warming up, and I'm thinking sometimes not too keen. And they just want to do their. They choose one of their songs from, we find it online, and I look at them when we're going through it, and they're singing it, and I can see them with their eyes shut, swaying. One of them, a few of them in particular. We've got a good sound system here, so it's nice. We've got the reverb on the mic. Don't know if you know what that is. So the reverb here. You don't have to use it all the time. I like it, they like it, just makes things sometimes sound good. If I switch this on here, now I'm on. That's the reverb. Oh, it's got the delay as well. There's a bit of reverb, I give it a bit more. We don't want too much, that's a bit much. So I'll set it about there. Sometimes if they're doing something, they might want a bit of the delay, which is this. If I turn the delay up, if I turn the delay up some more, turn the delay up some more, then you can hear what it is, but that's too much. So I just set it quite nicely so it sounds nice for them. They just do their thing, they just sing their thing. They just do what they do, and I see them with their eyes shut, and I think, okay, if that's doing something for you, mate, I don't know what your situation is. So for me, I'm thinking, well, you know, if that's, I don't know what your situation is, I don't know what things are like for you, how you're finding life, but music is part of that in my life, and maybe it is in yours as well, so I have no problem with that kind of thing at all. Jamming. What is jamming? Well, it's musicians getting together and making something. It may be completely out of nothing, if you like, but sometimes you take a sort of chord sequence, simple chord sequence, and just see where you can go with it. And that's how people would learn a lot naturally, if you will, in the early days. So maybe if I have this, I might give an example. If I just put something like this on, just two chords, A minor 7 and D7. You've heard it 1,000 times, so I can just go. I might do that, and the guitarist over there might be, I'll show him what the chords are, and just get the guitarist to get used. It's too fast, I'll just slow it down and say, yeah. And then might show a different way of doing it. I might suggest the bass player, with bass, say play that maybe, whilst I do that, so you get your so the bass player will get used to playing that, and then I might add some more chords. I might go can you play that? So that way of doing it is a very organic way. With the singers, I quite like to do what I call tennis. So I'll do something and just get them to either copy it or do something in return that's similar, just to get to throw you into using your voice all over the place and to get your ear used to, can you do that? So if I'm doing my you, and the singer would do that, then I might just think, well, let me take them up into their head. So they don't get much time to think, you just have to copy and go there. So you get very used to using your instrument in all sorts of ways. So I quite like that as well, rather than having all the time working towards grades and this and this and this, and taking, if you like, some of the fun out of it. I've got to tell you, I like that in the English language, we use the word play for music. Lots of other languages do as well, because I've asked foreign students, but not all, but many use the word play. So I like to keep the play in there, because the play is the energy that makes practice more palatable, perhaps. Yeah, if you've still got some play in there. Now, in addition to the regular instrument and voice lessons that we have here at the Brit School, we're looking at something called Peri-Plus, which is if some of us teachers here have particular specialisms that might be useful, that we might be able to do those. I've been doing a lot of videos and posting to Instagram and blah, blah, blah. Obviously to feed the gigs that we do, you have to do that kind of thing. And I've noticed that a lot of the students here don't have anything online, which I think is the way to go. Could be wrong, but I think it's the way to go. You can always delete it if you don't like it later. But things I've noticed have a knock-on effect. It's how this Earthworks here got in touch. They're some of the very best microphones in the world in America, and they saw one of my videos they've been watching, because you tagged them, of course, and they got in touch and they sent me this one. They've sent me about 5, I think, of their high-end microphones, which I then review without any obligation, but they're very good mics, so they get a good review. And then other knock-on effects from that. So if you're not there, you're not there. One of the things I'd like to do then is help students get just short, accurate, straightforward, not flashy videos that just shows what they do if they're a singer. What you'd need then is either a backing, which I can play and record, and then you can sing to that. You can get your own backing track and you can sing to that. We could do it live in the room if you wanted, why not? The quality, yes, would be as good if we had headphones. So you can either do it with headphones, which means better quality, because I'd switch the piano off, we wouldn't have the sound in the room, or you can do it absolutely live, which means you're going to get a bit of that going on the clock and all the rest of it, but you know, it's very honest stuff. The idea then would be for the singer to stand here, pretty much. It's just about, if I stand up you won't be able to see my face, but probably a good thing. But it's just about, if we're aiming up and we zoom in, enough to have from there to there with just a plain background. And then I would record and video, pretty much as this is, the performance. You have a few goes at it, get a good one. No editing, because generally speaking, if you have to present things to colleges, universities, or agents and so on, they're quite keen to have the truth as is. And this is perfectly adequate for that, more than adequate actually, it's very good quality. So that's the idea then. A showreel, you might call it. You could then cut that down and put it on, post on Instagram if you wanted. Instagram only allows up to a minute, so you can just edit it easily down to a minute and just have basically footage out there of you performing. Maybe voiceovers if you're theatre, maybe a monologue if you're theatre, so you've got something to show people. That's the idea. That's going to be my contribution to the Peri-Plus. Now, this really, because it's quite, you know, we have quite short lessons, a half-hour lessons, it's a lot to get through, so this would be for students who are already quite accomplished. We can work on the songs and so on separately from that, but when it comes to this, the whole lesson will be taken up really with just getting the good take. So the student needs to do their homework and their practice, so when they come here, they're ready. Also, it's good for you to get used to the red light being on, if you know what I mean, in a recording studio. All of us tend to get a bit like, oh, we're recording now. And it gets a bit scary and you tend to make mistakes. So it's just getting you used to that. So that's my contribution to the Peri-Plus program. That's about it. So once again, I think anything you need to see what I do, it's on my YouTube channel, YouTube/Anton Browne, or type my name into Google, it tends to come up because I've got lots of videos there. You have to rummage around a little to find the ones that are relevant and don't get bogged down with shoes. There we go. So I hope to see you in due course. Keep well.